That's it. And we are live. So everybody just heard me saying that, which is awesome. And they're still seeing the screen, but now we're actually going to do an intro. Yeah. Well, how many of you actually heard that little introduction? That was kind of fun. That's what you get for trying to be working on the computer and still trying to plan how you're going to get started at the same time. You get a little bit of a background outlook into what we're doing. So, hey, how's everybody doing today? Hope you are doing well. I'm actually doing, I would say, surprisingly well would be the term I might use. I got back from Europe last night. So I've been in Germany. I was in Scotland. We had some amazing conferences in Germany. We're working with our teachers there. We have a church in Limburg, Germany that we have developed a relationship with that are developing streams teachers. We've been doing the courses. They do the streams courses every year. So one year would be the art of hearing God. Then there's understanding dreams and visions, and there's an advanced workshop at dreams and visions, and then they just rotate that again and keep on going. And we've been doing that for a number of years. We have those materials translated into German, and so that's a lot of fun. So that was our first one. We did a conference there on new creation realities, and the presence of the Lord was wonderful. We had some really good experiences. My friend Rick and Cindy Hayes, who head up North Atlantic Dreams, which is one of our streams training centers that's overseeing what's going on in Germany right now, they came along. And Rick is one of those astounding fathers. He has such a father's heart. And he's been in the things of the Spirit for decades. He was around when John Wimber started coming to Scotland and England, and he actually helped to start a ministry in Scotland that kind of hosted conferences and trying to steward what John Wimber had released into the land. And then when streams started coming, because John Wimber brought John Paul to Scotland and introduced him to the churches, he continued to be a part of that. And he helped to launch streams training there in Scotland and was one of the big influencers that helped us get it to churches throughout Scotland and really changed the landscape of prophetic ministry in the nation of Scotland. And I'm not just saying that from my own perspective. That's actually what I've been told by various leaders that are in Scotland that have been there from before and after and have seen the change that has happened. And so Rick is an astounding father. He did a seminar for the ministry team training for that conference that we were at, and felt like he was supposed to release an impartation from what he had received. And the Spirit of God fell in that room. I was actually back at my B&B getting ready, having coffee and preparing for the evening session. So I missed out on all the good stuff, but the Lord really showed up and rocked some people. It was wonderful. Then the next weekend, I went to Scotland and we did our Synergy conference. A lot of you have seen some of the advertisements that we did on social media about that. And it was a brilliant success. We were just outside of Edinburgh in a town called Dunfermline, which has got so much history in Scotland. I'm not going to go into all of it, but we were there and we partnered with the Cairn Movement, which is a church planting, pioneering movement, working with leaders and working with churches in Scotland to advance new churches, new expressions of the kingdom, and to work with existing churches and really developing kingdom mindsets to bring that kingdom mentality into church life, making room for the move of the Spirit and preparing for what God wants to do in the land. Some wonderful things. Our friend Alan McWilliam heads that up. We got to partner with them and with Streams Creative House, Charity Bowman Webb, those of you that are familiar with her, who teaches the creative course on our online course, Limitless. And that conference was, again, I mean, it was so good. The presence of the Lord on the first night was so rich and so thick. There was a moment in worship, which is a very rare moment, when everybody in the room just was completely lifted into the presence of God and began to sing in unison with passion. Like there's times when it's good and you have those experiences, but then there's a moment when you know, like, this is a divine moment. And it was one of those, very rare. I've maybe experienced that a handful of times in all of my Christian life at that level. And we experienced that on the Friday night of that conference. It was beautiful. The Lord did some other really, really good things. So now we are, I just got back, like I said, last night. So I haven't even been hit by jet lag today, which is wonderful. Historically, it usually hits right around 4 p.m. So I've made it past that, and I'm feeling great right now. You can tell I'm talking a little bit fast, but yeah, so we're excited. So Daniel's with me.
Hello, everybody.
We're going to do some dream interpretation.
Yeah, we are.
Have some fun. We're getting ready for a lot more dream interpretation coming in a couple weeks with our advanced workshop, which we're doing right here at the Streams offices. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But why don't we start with one of these dreams? Somebody sent this in from our tribe.
Yep. So this is one of our tribe members. If you guys are curious about tribes, head to the website, go to the tribe page. That will let you know how to be a part of tribe. You'll be able to submit dreams, a whole bunch of other really good things. So this is from Elizabeth. I'm going to say Kokamula. I apologize if I just butchered your last name. I'm Australian, living in America, trying to translate a last name that I'm not familiar with. So we'll get there. So she's titled the dream Deflated Purse. I was working. I don't know where. There was construction going on around me. My co-worker, Amy, was there. We had a shared purse. I heard the sound coming from the purse. It was like when you pinch and stretch the ends of a balloon and let the air out. The purse was deflating. I picked it up and it was full of my co-worker's things. I was going to inflate it, but the stem was covered in coral lipstick. I looked for an alcohol wipe, couldn't find one. I used a different cleaner instead. I was getting ready to inflate it when I thought it was too full and there was no room for the air. There was something else there with lipstick on it and I was going to clean it, but don't recall. And then the dream shifts. I was then back with my ex-husband. He lifted his shirt to show me a wound on his lower back. I said, "You hurt your back." So that's the dream.
Yay. Well, you've got a couple different things that give you some clues in this. One, there's connection with workplace. She's with a coworker, and it's a shared thing. So the relationship that they have is through the workplace. So the shared thing is something that they share in the workplace. You know, a shared purse. I mean, a lot of times we talk about purses being identity, but purse is also where you keep your finances, or where you would keep your favor. You store your favor, you store your resources. But it's what you take with you to make sure that you have everything you need. So there's something that they're sharing that's related to the work and the role of that work. But the whole idea of being deflated. Like, it feels like there's something related to both of their work that it's like the air is going out of it. It's being deflated. And that feeling of deflated, I mean, depression is too strong of a word, but you're not
downward trending.
Downward trending. Yeah. I just kind of feel deflated rather than I feel depressed. It's flat. A negative.
It's more of a flatness of feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what that's talking about, that experience. And then, you know, the coral lipstick. So, you know, hey, this is something that's shared. I don't want to get their stuff on me, but I also need to deal with this. You know, how can I clean this up? How can I deal with this in a way that I'm not going to get their stuff on me? Because in the process of trying to deal with this thing that's deflated, the shared resources that's been deflated, shared. I mean, I don't want to use the word identity because it doesn't quite fit, but it's responsibility.
Yeah,
that's a better way of saying
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. It's a kind of a little bit elusive. It's interesting that there's no. I thought it was too full, but there was no room for air.
Yeah.
So in the process of the deflation of it becoming flat, not full of. To me, when I think of air, I think it's not full of the life that it once had.
Yeah.
Something else has
taken
something else has taken its space. So she's recognized, hey, there's not enough room for the air and then that same smearing had happened to something else that was in that shared purse.
Yeah.
So what had originally taken the air out of what they were doing, the life out of what they were doing, that needed to be cleaned up, has also affected other pieces that they share. I don't know if it's a task or a project. It's something that they're working on
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That has become, for lack of a better phrase, not defiled, but something has
Yeah.
smeared it
Yeah.
that needs to be cleaned up. And because it wasn't cleaned up when it feels like when it wasn't cleaned up when the air started to come out of it, it's actually affected other things that it didn't need to.
Yeah.
So there's been a knock-on effect. That's a very Australian phrase. There's been a smearing effect on the other things that you guys are sharing in this season, in this assignment, that you're going to have to clean with the same thing that you're using to clean the actual, I don't even know what it is, bladder, whatever's filling up the air in the purse.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's interesting when I think of like that word when you were saying about trying to get it inflated, filling it full of air again. I had the phrase that was like puffing it up.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Like it's almost like something has lost the life that it had at one point in time, and you're not going to be able to puff it up. There's no room for it to be puffed up. It's actually in a new season. And recognizing that and trying to remove the remainder of other people's pieces that they've put on that and to clean it up is going to be really key. So that's a lot of fun. So Elizabeth, hopefully you are watching. We'll send you an email just to make sure that you get this, you know that we actually interpreted this, so that you can get that interpretation. But why don't we jump into some of them that we've got online?
Yeah, we've got some people definitely saying hi from France and a few offered different places. I believe I saw Ray. Hello, Ray. We know you're watching.
Yay. Well, let's grab the one that just came up. MMM. Your daughter's dream. This little girl in white took my daughter to a house that had huge white walls. The room was glowing and she felt tiny and she was dressed in full white. Outside was a big tree. So this is awesome. Now, I don't know what age your daughter is, but just from this, kind of feels like she's probably preteen, but young child, not baby, not toddler, clearly with that kind of language. So there's something that's going on there. But basically, what this dream is a heavenly encounter. She was taken into a heavenly encounter. It gave her a picture of how small she is in the scheme of things, but she has been dressed in white. And so there's this marking, this identity with the righteousness of Christ that has been given to your daughter. And in this encounter, it was really key. Now, outside was a big tree. I think that would be the tree of life.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah. So this is an encounter that she had with the presence of God, where an angelic being, a spiritual being, came and gave her this encounter and was giving her a revelation of her righteousness and that she has a place in the light, that she is one of the children of light, which is one of the phrases scripture uses to talk about those that are in relationship with God. So that is an amazing, amazing dream. Yeah, that's one to hold on to and remind her periodically of, because dreams like that will mark someone's spirit so that there's this echo, but it's more than an echo. It's almost like a magnetic pull to the things of the spirit. And especially when dreams like that happen at a young age, as that begins to happen, they'll start to resonate with spiritual encounters in another way. And so one of the things, I mean, this is not said in the dream, but from the dream, knowing the ways of God, I can say that your daughter does have a prophetic call. She actually has a call from the Lord to have prophetic encounters, prophetic experiences, and the Lord's going to be meeting her. This isn't going to be the last one that she has, but her spirit is now attuned to resonate with the presence of the Lord and with the atmosphere of heaven. And she'll probably start recognizing her discernment is most likely going to be increased Whether she recognizes that or not, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily a conscious thing, but she'll be able to recognize by the Spirit things that carry that same atmosphere of heaven and things that don't from this point. So if she presses into recognizing that discernment, it's going to really help to serve her. So that's a lot of fun.
Mm.
Do you want to?
I'm just
Go
having
ahead.
a look. I'm just trying to sort through where we want to land. Ooh,
Go ahead.
yeah. Sorry, guys. Be real honest. There's a lot of fear dreams popping up on the thread, and it's kind of hard to engage with some of those in an interpretive process. It's something you'd want to talk through a little bit more, but pick one. I
All right,
mean,
let's do this one.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Was going to space, was on the back of an astronaut, and he began to climb a bookshelf. No ceiling in the room, so he could see all the stars. I was excited. Near the top of the tall bookshelf, we both fell off. Bookshelf, not shelf. Pronunciations is struggle today. Okay, so it's really interesting because you're not beginning to climb. So there's an invitation to come higher in the things of the Spirit, but you're not the one who's doing the climbing, Alinga. There is the Lord giving you an indication. An astronaut is someone who is well equipped to go up into space, to go up into these heavenly spaces. On the back of that, there is something about climbing the bookshelf that there's a season of instruction as you are ascending in the things of the Spirit. There's going to be instruction that comes with it. But the interesting thing part of it was near the top of the tall bookshelf, we both fell off. That piece doesn't seem to feel great. Whether there is a warning in terms of hanging on to knowledge, I don't know. What are you getting off of that piece?
So that process, there's going to be some wonderful things that you're going to learn, like he said, from someone that has already ascended, is equipped, and has been able to go into spiritual encounters. And you're going to grow in knowledge from that. But there's going to be at some point where that relationship is going to end. You're not going to be able to continue with that place. And so learn what you can while you can. But when that happens, don't try to go back up the same way. And I know that piece is not in the dream, but that falling off, like he said, it felt like that there's a negative piece to it. And part of it is that, like, that relationship, that person is going to be able to help you to go so far, but then something's going to happen, whether that person falls and it's going to affect your relationship in some way, your spiritual life in some way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to fall, because you weren't the one climbing. Well, you both fell off, but it's not talking about necessarily a moral failure, but it might be for the other person. It's some type of a fall that they're going to have, and it's going to affect you. Now, it leaves you with that cliffhanger. And what that cliffhanger means is when you recognize this situation, you have to make a decision how you respond. And when you have cliffhanger dreams, then it's really important to use what you know about the ways of God to respond righteously. Do not let yourself only respond in the soul. This is a spiritual invitation. So,
yeah, good.
Yeah.
With that piece, I was trying to figure that piece. The astronaut imagery is interesting because that could be the Lord, but it wasn't the Lord because of the fall factor.
Right.
That's where I was trying to work backwards and figure out who is this person, what are they representing. So that's really good.
Yeah. Okay, let's scroll down to the bottom. And Grace John, in the two garages in my family's home, enter right one first, which is a bathroom. Go to the left one, the floor is wet, clothes everywhere. There's a large bed with a tall chair reaching to the ceiling on it. All right, so now this is fun. So garages in the home, but what's in the garage is not a garage. So thinking about a garage, so that becomes the detail of the other thing. So it's a modifier of those other things. So garage would be where you rest your ministry. So that's where your car comes to rest. Yeah, a lot of garages, you're just storing extra stuff. But the intention of the garage, and especially if you've got two garages, it's the place where there's supposed to be a rest, but it's not actually part of the life. It's actually resting from the work. So it's talking about the things that you're doing and, you know, what you're doing, not necessarily work, but maybe ministry, because a car could represent that. So it's that place of rest from that. The first one is the bathroom, right? So there's some cleansing. So there's going to come a season of rest. And now this is something for your whole family, but you're the one that enters in. So this is specifically about you, even though the principles affect your whole family, because it's a family dynamic, because it's your family home. But the principle is that the bathroom is a place of cleansing, or a time of cleansing. So there's some cleansing about the way that you've been doing things and how you've been doing them, that there's some cleansing that needs to go through. On the other side, there's clothes everywhere. Now, clothes usually talks about your gifting. It's what you put on to go about your day. So the car is how you get there, but the clothes are what you wear. So it would talk about your giftings and your abilities. And if the floor is wet, that tends to not be like, it could be positive, but it's not running water. It's just sitting water. So it's just talking about things that have been soiled, or things that have been wet, things that are soggy. It's not something that you're going to pick up wet clothes and put on. So there's a processing. So there's a cleansing and a healing of what you're doing, but there's also a cleansing of how you're doing it. Right. And there's a large bed with a tall chair reaching to the ceiling. The main emphasis of this season, when you're recognizing the cleansing of what you're doing and how you're doing it, is to stay in the place of rest, which ties us back into the reason why it's a garage. Right. But the bed was this huge thing, large bed with a tall chair. So resting and sitting in what you've been given, who you are, sitting in your identity. So that's the key for this next season, is rest in the midst of cleansing. That's a fun one. Okay. Let's do this first one.
Let's go. There was one about the lady buying Lorraine with the, go up a little bit. The waitress. Oh, we've had a ton of stuff coming in. Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone. That's the thing. We got to click on it.
Mom's dishwasher. I'm intrigued by this. Alexia T. My mom's dishwasher didn't work correctly. Too hot and wouldn't close. Cousin asked me to check on the moon calendar if the time was right to repair it. I see it's Monday, 23rd of June. Okay, so we could totally get lost in the details of this and try and make the dream say something that it's not. My mom's dishwasher didn't work. So the place that your mother has in her life to clean where she eats. So the food that's being prepared after she's consumed the food in order to be ready to consume food again is not working correctly. It's too hot and it wouldn't close. So what is needed in this season for your mom to be able to re-eat and refeed herself in the things of the spirit? So whether this is rest, whether this is stewarding correctly, there's something about when something doesn't work correctly, it hasn't either been maintained or it's been misused or it's not working the way that it should. This feels like it's not working the way that it should. So there's something in your mom's world. So this isn't about you, Alexa. So Alexia, you're observing this initially, and then the cousin's coming to ask you to check the moon calendar. So really simply, there's something in your mom's life that is not working correctly in order for her to be able to feed and refeed herself the things that she needs. This is going to involve family on one degree. The cousin's asking you to get involved, but it's asking you to get involved in a weird way. Is it the right time? Is it the lunar calendar? Is it this? There is a timing to the repair of the things that are going on in your mom's life that needs to happen. So right now, this is a piece of revelation. Right now, it might feel difficult to watch your mother in this season not being able to eat correctly or operate correctly, but there is a timing that the Lord's letting you know, hey, there is a divine timing to this piece in your mother's life being restored.
Yeah. Well, I find it intriguing that it's the moon calendar that she's told to check, and it's Monday, which is Moon's Day.
Ah, okay. So what are you getting off that?
Well, the thing about the moon is not actually a source of light. It actually reflects the light.
Yeah.
So that there's something that's not a direct source,
Mhm.
but that has reflected the light of the Lord that's going to reveal the timing. And why June 23rd? Well, June 23rd also just happens to be right at the summer equinox.
Oh, it is too. Yeah, it's the change of season.
It's
Yeah.
the change of season, right when you're going from spring into summer. So that's the summer equinox, which is the longest day of the year.
Mhm.
So there's
The
going to
most
be
light.
there's going to be plenty of time
Mhm.
to come to the understanding.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. Okay. Well, let's see what we've got next. All right. You put this in quite a few times. I see it pop up and then we miss it when we get to interpret dreams. So we're actually going to get to it this time.
Mhm.
The daughter of Abraham and Jacob. I had a dream that he had no heart and given an artificial heart, and another they denied Christ. Please pray for Arthur's salvation. Okay, so I'm guessing you're talking about Arthur. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, this is a calling for intercession, for you to pray that the Lord would awaken this person and awaken their heart and let them have a real heart for Christ and who he is in their life. Okay, let's see here. Claire B.
Okay.
You want to go with this one?
2 people I didn't know gave me a gift from a church leader. It was a silver ring. I put it in my pocket until he asked me about it later. I pulled it out and it was inscribed, "His mercy reigns."
So good.
That's actually a really
Come
okay.
on.
So that's a really good dream. So 2 people I didn't know gave me a gift from a church leader. It was a silver ring. So here is a promise of covenant coming to you that's
Yeah.
based on redemption and actually inscribed by his mercy. So the sense in this dream is that there are going to be invitations coming from people that you do not know, that are coming straight from the heart of the
Yeah.
Lord, coming from a church leader. Well, who's the leader of the church? Well, Christ is the head of the church. So there is something coming to you, Claire, in this season that is going to be covenantal. It's going to be inscribed. It's going to have mercy written upon it.
Yeah.
And it's going to come to you in a place like you might actually have already I believe you've already received part of this, but you
Yeah.
don't know you're carrying it.
Yep.
So you've already received this gift of grace, this gift of redemption that's inscribed with mercy. The feeling I have is that you are called very much to mercy ministries and actually demonstrating the mercy of God into the earth, but you do not know that you actually have this in your possession. So I believe the Lord is actually inviting you to realize what you have in Him.
Yeah.
And how you're to actually steward it, anchored in mercy and displaying His mercy to those around.
That's so good. That is a fun one. What
That's
a
really
great
cool.
dream. All right. UJ. Peter was calling me on the phone. I looked in newspaper to answer, but the phone's still ringing. I then looked at video in the paper, but phone's still ringing. I then saw a phone and said hello. All right. So Peter, the rock of revelation. You recognize that you have an invitation into revelation, that there's a calling to prophetic ministry that is on you, but you keep on trying to access it in different ways. The phone would represent your prayer life, but you keep on looking in a newspaper about what's happening in the world instead of your prayer life. Or you're looking at video, you're looking at the visions that people have and the things that are being projected instead of at your prayer life. But the only way that you're going to receive the fullness of the prophetic calling that is on your life is by getting into that place of prayer, seeing the phone, holding on to the phone and communicating, saying hello, inviting the Lord to begin to speak to you in that place of prayer.
That's really cool. And you can only get that by revelation, because the elements on their own, you could get really lost on that.
Oh, yeah, you could.
Hit this one. This one intrigues me.
All right, here we are.
So Elisha TV Productions dreamt I went to an apostle and a pastor's house that are married. She took me to the backyard and I said, wow, this is great. There was water and soil everywhere. They had plants, etc., ready to plant. Okay. So this is really interesting, because I believe you're supposed to respond in prayer, but you are getting a vision of what the Lord is doing in this hour, which is He is marrying the apostolic to the shepherding grace in the house of the Lord. This is something that He has already done. That's why it was in the backyard. The soil has been prepped. There is water. There is a movement of God coming to this soil that is already not only historic, but it's already being carried. That's why it's behind. It's already in the possession of what the Lord is actually birthing. It has plants. It is ready for harvest. It is ready for soil.
Yeah.
So I believe this is actually a invitation to you for intercession to pray in this move of God that sees the marriage of the shepherding and the apostolic.
Come on. That's a fun one. Let's see. Let's try this. Eve preserved. Eve. So I was holding water in a bucket and went to a public bathroom to bathe. There were plenty of people there waiting outside to take their turn to bathe. I entered the 5th bathroom with my water to bathe. So, holding water in a bucket, you've been given a container that carries the things of the Spirit. But there's a cleansing that you need to go through, and it's not private. It's not just going to be in your own home. So a public bathroom, which just means that this is a public space, that this is where other people are involved. Now, why wasn't the church bathroom? Why wasn't it the bathroom at my workplace? This is just out in the public that there's an opportunity for you. There's a lot of people that need to deal with internal issues, but you have some things. Maybe it's not so internalized, but it's got on you, and the Lord is going to wash you off. You already have everything that you need. You're already carrying that thing of the Spirit, what's been released, to be able to carry that washroom. And it's only going to happen through grace. I entered the 5th bathroom with my water to bathe. So it's only going to be through grace. It's the grace of the Lord. It's not because you have done so well. Now, as I'm sharing that interpretation, I am automatically going to, I think it's Psalm 15, who will ascend the hill of the Lord? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. This is those of the generation that will seek his face, the generation of Jacob. So there's an invitation on your life to go higher in the things of the Spirit. But it's going to require you in a public place to receive the grace of the Lord and see your hands get cleansed from those things that you have encountered that other people have internalized.
That's a good dream.
That is a really good dream. That's a fun one. How about this one?
Esther Shana, so I'm going into an elevator with people. It's so big and beautiful with places to sit, but when it goes up and down, it is rough, and I'm holding on to somebody and screaming with a smile. Okay. So this is you being invited into the things of the Spirit, the rhythm of the Spirit, the up and the down, the ebb and the flow of the Spirit. It is big and it's beautiful, and there's something that you can rest in, but it's not going to go smoothly for you in this season. It feels like it's rough, and it feels like it's a little bit jarring. It feels like when you say rough and I'm holding on to somebody, there's some shakings connected to the rhythm of the Spirit in this season for you, and you're holding on to somebody and screaming, but with a smile. So inwardly, you know that this is for your good, even though outwardly you are screaming. Now, I don't know whether that's screaming with joy, screaming with panic, but just know that the Lord has you in a season of shaking that is bringing you higher and into the ebb and the flow of the Spirit with a group of people. And you can rest in that fact and rest in that reality, knowing that it's Him.
That's good. Well, let's see if we can do something with this dream. Since our friend is online, we might as well, since we noticed that there was a dream release, we might as well take a look at it. Okay, so Ray, with a group of people, 2 of us were ahead in snow. Other person dropped things over the edge and went themselves. I listened. It was a 14-minute drop. Seemed scary. I knew it was straight down. We would not get hurt. Okay, so there's a group of people. 2 of you have gone ahead. There's snow. There's a edge, long edge. So the other person that you're with, the 2 of you that went ahead, the other person, they drop something off the edge, and then they go over the edge. And it's a 14-minute drop from the top to the bottom. That's huge. And you knew there was a straight down, and you needed to go off too, but that you would not get hurt. We would not get hurt. So here's a couple things. you've been on a journey. And there's a group of you that have been on journeys. So maybe this is a small group, maybe this is a group of friends, but there's a group of you that's been on a journey. A couple of you've kind of went a little bit forward ahead of the others, and there's a lot of favor there. So Snow can talk about favor, righteousness, refreshing. So there's a lot of favor in the season that you're in. But the next step is going to require significant faith. Significant faith. There's some things that are going to need to be let go of, but there's also a stepping out into the unknown. And there's nothing to catch you. Now, why a 14-minute drop? I don't know, but I asked that question because I'm hoping to get revelation. So the one thing with the 14 minutes, sometimes it's talking it out and just trusting the anointing within you to bring something up as you begin to, by faith, let something come out of the mouth. So that's where I'm pressing into that right now. Think about 14 as it's double sevens, right? So there's a completion, there's a perfection that has happened, and it's not just completed. It's not just going to complete faith. It's going to fully complete faith. That doubling of the completion is going to be fully complete. So once you have taken this step, once you have taken this leap of faith, this act of faith, it's going to increase your faith, and it's going to complete your faith. There's going to be that level of complete, of settledness of faith that you've been looking for on the other side of it. So, wow, that's
awesome.
Yeah, that's really fun. That's awesome, Ray. Congratulations.
Ooh, Swiss watch.
This one?
Yeah.
All right, here we are.
CL, I visited a Switch watch shop with my watch. The technician said it was valuable, belonged to them, and they would replace a diamond, but couldn't find the part due to a different serial numbers. Okay, watch, time, season, Swiss watch. There is something about, when we think about the Swiss watches specifically as an image, it is precise.
Yeah.
It is excellent. It is well worked. So the season that you currently find yourself in is valuable. This is a valuable season that you find yourself in. The timing of where you're in is really valuable. Now, they said they would replace a diamond. So there's something about replacing, repairing, fixing. There's something about the brilliance of the light. There's something about that diamond. There's something really precious connected to this season that needs to be replaced. Or I know you don't say upgraded.
Of eternal value.
It's of eternal
Diamonds
value.
Are forever. Yeah.
So there's something of eternal value that needs to be upgraded and fixed. I know you didn't say upgraded, but replacing a diamond, something that is not as bright and shiny as it once was, becoming replaced with something brilliant. They couldn't find the part due to different serial numbers. So it feels like there's a little bit of a delay. You have actually come to the right season. You're in the right place for this timing, for this watch, for this eternal thing of eternal value that has been put upon your wrist, which connects to the work of your hands. But there is just a disconnect between the serial numbers. So it's not yet. It's the now and the not yet frustration piece. It's in your possession. It's on the work of your hands. It's being fixed. It needs to be fixed, but it's not yet that it will fully come into completion. So you have it in part, but you'll know it fully when it comes.
Yeah, that's good. That's fun. Yay. Well, hey, how many of you guys have taken one of our training courses that we've done on dreams and visions? So we have our online course, the Understanding Dreams and Visions course that John Paul wrote. And in our online classroom, we actually have a recording of him teaching through that. That is available. And I know a lot of you, maybe you've taken that live or you've taken that online, or have taken the Interpreting Dreams and Visions module of Streams Academy, which is the one that we're in right now. Getting ready to wrap it up here in the next couple weeks. If you have done either of those, we want to invite you to come here to Dallas and go through a mentoring weekend on dream interpretation. We have this course, and I'm going to put this on the screen in front of our faces for just a second. The Advanced Workshop in Dreams and Visions. And what we do in this course is we go through dreams and visions, and we take the things that we've taught in the Understanding Dreams and Visions course, which is the same process that we teach in the Interpreting Dreams and Visions module. And we use those, we take all of those skills and we put them into practical use using your dreams to walk through interpretation, and we do them as a class. So there's a little bit deeper teaching, and there's going to be a little bit of training and equipping that's there. But almost the whole weekend, we're going to be going through dreams. We're going to be diagramming dreams together as a classroom. You're going to learn how to do this with others. So you'll be working with other people in the class. You'll be interpreting dreams. Everybody in the class will get at least one dream interpreted, but many more than just one dream, because you'll have opportunities to do it with the whole class. There's going to be opportunities to have dreams interpreted by class students. We're going to teach you how to operate in a dream team, how to do that in outreach, but also in church settings. And you're going to get to practice it, and you're going to get feedback. There's going to be a lot of Q&A. I'm going to be leading that. Daniel's going to be helping out on that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I want to invite you, if you have not had an opportunity, I'm going to put this back up. If you've not had an opportunity to come to one of the advanced workshops yet, this is going to really launch your interpretive process. So October the 24th through the 26th. Now, if you're on your phone, it's going to be a little bit hard to scan that code, but if you're on a computer, you'll be able to. But you can always just go right to our website, streamsministries.com, and go under upcoming events, and you'll be able to find it. It's October 24th through the 26th, and register. We've got about 40 people coming so far. It's coming up in a couple weeks. We're planning on probably around 50 people that are going to be a part of this. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for interactions. You're going to be able to get your questions answered. You're going to be able to get dreams interpreted, and you're going to develop your ability, grow in your ability to interpret your own dreams as well as the dreams of others. So I can't recommend this enough. This course really helped me, and it's one of my favorites to teach because it changes every single time it happens, because there's always different dreams. There's always new dreamers that are coming. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I hope you can come and join us. For those of you that are local, we're going to be doing our encounter this Saturday. So our encounter time is when we have our encounter teams ready to minister. We get together, we worship for 3 hours. So you can just come in and worship with us if you want to, just sit in the presence of the Lord. We have a prophetic flow of worship that continues for that period of time. But while we're worshiping, we have teams that have been trained in dream interpretation and prophetic ministry, inner healing, deliverance, physical healing, just releasing an encounter from the Lord. And they're asking the Lord who to grab to minister to, and they'll invite people into one of our ministry rooms, sit down with them, spend some time with them, and minister as the Lord leads, and release encounters. We've had so many testimonies of healing, of breakthrough. We've seen demons come out of people. We've seen people getting prophetic words that just confirmed what God was saying to them. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great time if you've been trained on how to do those things, and you can come. We are always looking for more team members. And if you can email us at customersupport@streamsministries.com, we will let you know how to be involved so that you can be one of the team members as part of our encounter teams. So we do have some classes. We want to make sure that the people that are ministering, that they've been trained and that they understand how it is that we do this. So there are some classes, but if you've gone through some of our classes, this might be a great opportunity for you to put some of it into practice. Because learning is not just about getting information. You've actually got to do something with the things that you learn so that you can see it land. Because it's one thing to have the information. I love I think it was the example that John Wimber used to use. Yeah, so many times we talk about the things of the spirit, and it's like going to a class on parachuting. Like you can sit in a classroom all day long. You can look at the videos and the manuals and know how to fold your parachute, know how long you're supposed to count before you pull the cord, and how hard you're supposed to pull the cord, and what to do if the cord doesn't pull the first time. Like, you can know everything there is about parachuting, but you have not parachuted until you jump out of the plane. And some of us, we have so much equipping, but we haven't actually done things with it. But it's helpful to have a safe place to practice, where you have a net underneath of you to catch yourself, just in case. Hey, wait a second, I thought this was the string to pull. And that's what we provide with these mentoring opportunities, where you can start to practice, you can start to grow and learn, and be in a place where there's somebody else that's been through it, that has a little bit more experience, and can mentor you, can help you to grow, help you to mature, that can really help you to develop the giftings that God has given you. And this is one of the big calls that we have at Streams. We are here to help you hear God better. Like that's the reason why Streams Ministries exists. We want to develop that relationship. We want to help you develop your gifting. We want to help you understand what it is that God is saying. And here's a couple ways that you can jump in and really get equipped to be able to do that. So would love to see you. We would love to have you with us this Saturday. The encounter time, it's on our website. It's from 2 to 5 p.m. This Saturday. We'll be here in the Louisville office at our Streams Ministries headquarters. And then October 24th through the 26th, we are going to be doing the advanced workshop. And I'm going to go ahead and put that back up on the screen as we end this video. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and click that little bell so that you can get notifications whenever we're going live, when we post some new videos, because we're constantly putting out material to help you grow and hear God better. So bless you.